So we finished the fourth one, right? That's what I remember. Yeah, Nana Chidra Ghatodara Sthita Mahadeepa Prabhavaswaram. So this one, let's do the chant a couple of times and then go to the meaning. So I'll say, if somebody can just repeat along with me, follow after I say. Okay.
Can I do?
Yeah, please. Deham pranam apindriyanyapi chalam.
Deham pranamapindriyanyapi chalam.
Buddhim cha shunyam viduhu.
Buddhim cha shunyam viduhu.
Sri balandha jadopamaastvahamiti.
Sri balandha jadopamasvamahimiti.
Sri balandha jadopamaastvahamiti.
Sri balandha jadopamasvamiti.
Bhranta bhrisham vadinaha.
Kantabhrisham vadinaha.
Maya shakti vilasa kalpita.
Maya shakti vilasa kalpita.
Mahavyamoha samharine.
Mahavyamoha samharine.
Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namayidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye.
Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namaidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye.
Deham pranam apindriyanyapi chalam.
Deham pranamapindriyanyapi chalam.
Buddhim cha shunyam viduhu.
Buddhim cha shunyam viduhu.
Sri balandha jadopamaastvahamiti.
Sri balandha jadopamasvahamiti.
Bhranta bhrisham vadinaha.
Prantabhrisham vadinaha.
Maya shakti vilasa kalpita.
Maya shakti vilasa kalpita.
Mahavyamoha samharine.
Mahavyamoha samharine.
Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namayidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye.
Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namaidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye.
See, in fact, if you try to decipher the 10 Dakshinamurti Stotras itself, there will be a lot of sandhis. So if you start identifying what sandhis are there, this itself is a good exercise in Vyakarana, sandhis, trying to understand the Sanskrita sandhis here. So pronounce pandradhukku, and then to be able to break it in the right place and trying to trying to understand
get the word meaning and then get the deeper meaning.
Correct.
Then internalize it.
அதுக்காக தான் அவர் குவைட் ஆயிட்டாரு தட்சிணாமூர்த்தி.
பார்த்தாரு நீங்க வரதுக்குள்ள ரொம்ப நேரம் ஆகும்.
It is a very exhausting process. So he realized and he said, let me be silent. But yeah, truly that's the whole thing, right? Something that is closest to you. I remember hearing this anecdote somewhere. Somebody was standing right outside a temple, but his back was facing the temple and he was searching the temple. So he asked somebody, how far is the temple? So then this man said it is about it's about 150 kilometers. He said, what? Somebody told me it's right here. He said, yeah, in the direction that you're walking, if you walk, it will be 150 kilometers. You turn around, it's just 2 feet away. So that which is closest to us seems so far because we are going in the opposite direction.
It happened to me and Raghu 2 weeks back. Raghu, you there?
Oh, seriously?
We parked the car just in front of the temple. Uttar ke we went in the other direction for 100 meters and then realized actually it's the other side.
Oh my God. Yeah. So it's a very
chashma pehenne wale all the time they keep the glasses in one place and they keep looking elsewhere.
No, these glasses are for reading. So anyway, just to clarify.
Generally,
the other eye is opened up for him. So
Raghu is silent. Okay.
It sounds like Chennai rickshawalas.
true. Yeah. So so it's very profound to just think in life that it happens to us, right? We keep going for these things, the understanding of these things. We try to search it in the words, for example.
also like that Pullayar Murugan story in the Mambala Kada.
Same thing. Correct. A similar idea. So the where we search for something is very, very important. Like, for example, another joke. I've heard it in my childhood. There's this guy who was searching for a ring. He's searching for something. Then a friend comes along and he says, "What are you searching for, my friend?" Saying, "I am searching for my ring." He says, "Where did you lose it?" He says, "I lost it there." He points at another place. He says, "Then why are you searching for it here?" "Because there is light here only. There it is so dark." So, even searching at the right place is important. You have to search something that we figure out, we know that what we have lost and what we are searching, we have to search for it in the right place. We tend to search for things in the we tend to say, look for things in the wrong place. We should look for it at the right places. So what Vedanta or any of the spiritual teachings is pointing us to the right place. To look for it at the right place. Don't look for it in the external world of objects, in the external joys and pleasures, in the external experiences of the world, in the external momentary fleeting achievements and failures and successes and whatever that happens in this wave, the wave of the Bhavasagara. Don't search for it there, because how much ever you search for it, you'll not find that unbounded, limitless ananda that we're seeking. Because any amount of joy that gets added to us from the outside, we will realize very soon there is more that we look for. Because we run out of the joy that we squeeze out of that object or substance or thing or event or person. We squeeze maximum joy and happiness out of that. And then again, we are exhausted and we are looking for more. Right? It's like taking a drug. See, what is the difference between taking a psychedelic drug and going into altered states of consciousness versus meditation? When you achieve a certain heightened states of consciousness as meditation, if you can do it by a psychedelic drug, why should I spend so much time doing meditation and struggling through the sadhana while this one small pill can give me? What is the difference? Right? Yet I know intrinsically there is some problem with taking a drug. Now, what is the problem? The problem is you will get a high. You will get a high that you cannot normally get. And even in meditation, will we be able to get it? We don't know. It will take years of sadhana to get to a certain heightened state of consciousness. But in this drug, in this pill, you'll get that instantaneously. The problem is the drug gives you a high, but it also drops you equally badly. Right? That is the issue. When you fall, when the effect of the drug goes away, the fall is equally rapid and equally steep. As steep as you went up to that state of heightened state of consciousness, the fall will also be equally steep. That is one. Second thing is it leaves you drained. You'd see a lot of people, I mean, we've seen these things in our society, in movies and all of that. People who have put themselves to drugs, you find over time, they have, their life energy would be lost. They would feel drained. So what happens is your your energy gradually drains out by the use or abuse of drugs. That's the second thing. The third thing that happens is that you are seeking more of the drug. You get caught up, which is why there is addiction. So this is what sukha does. Sukha does this to us. It takes us to a high and drops us. And it always leaves you wanting more. And you will feel drained, because after the sukha, you are now back to the original position. Right? Now in Atma Jnanam, or when you try to go inwards, it is a gradual progression of the joy, the inside joy. The inside joy is more like it's like a plant growing. It will grow slowly within us. And that you will get as you practice more, as the sadhana intensifies, we will experience the joy more and more. And that joy you will want more and more. There's nothing wrong with it, but it will not leave you drained. It will not leave you, it will not drop you, because you've made a gradual progressive entry into the joy. So any spiritual sadhana for that matter that you take, you do yoga, you do meditation, dhyana, you do satsanga, you do nama sankirtanam, it will always raise your level of consciousness in a organic way, in a way that is suitable for you as an individual. So when that happens, there is greater ability for you to sustain that. Right? So the important thing that Vedanta always is trying to point to us is look in the right direction. Turn inwards. The only way, what does it say? The only way out is in. Kalpaka, something similar to what Kalpaka just said. The only way out of this misery, of the situation, of the conditioning that we are in, is in. You have to go in. The only way out of this is to go in. And that is our attempt. What we are all doing is that attempt. That how do we go inwards? And there are methods. So by reading Dakshinamurti Stotram, by trying to understand this, we try to go in. Now what is the shloka saying? Deham pranam api indriyani chalam buddhim cha shunyam viduhu. So let's look at the overall meaning of this verse. Let me try to make this smaller slightly. Right. So deham pranam api indriyanyapi chalam buddhim cha shunyam viduhu. So those wise people, or those who consider themselves as wise, those who consider the body or the prana or the sense organs or the mind or shunya, or which means the shunya means the non-existence of all of this, as the atma, are dull-headed. Stri balandha jado stri bala andha jada upamaha, similar to aham iti bhranta bhrisham vadinaha. Right? So those who think that these are I, what are these? Deham, pranam, indriyani, buddhi, chalam is the mind. Those who know these and think that it is similar to I, aham iti, they are like stri, bala, andha, jada, upamaha. Okay, so they are like they are like these very ignorant, innocent and ignorant girl or a child. Now, I don't know why Adi Shankara is using.
Why Sri though?
Yeah. So why Adi Shankara is pointing to a Stree is because these are the times where knowledge was accessible only to the men. Right? Men, you had Panditas in the men, you had, and women were, of course, women were knowledgeable in other things, in things of the household, in things of the dharma of the household, they were knowledgeable. But in the Shastras, in the knowledge of the Shastras, the women always dependent on the men's authority. So women and children are they have to learn from a higher authority, because men in that society. So this is possibly it is, he's making a reference to still a society of 8th century, 7th or 8th century, where women were not possibly allowed to have access to this form of knowledge, right? And possibly he wrote this, I don't know, before meeting Mandana Mishra's wife. I don't know those who know the story. Ma Bharati, Sharda Devi.
Yeah, correct. That makes sense. Now it's more comforting now. You're feeling very awkward though. I see you're feeling very guilty and awkward to say. That is fine.
So maybe after meeting her, his perspective about women would have changed. So we don't know. See, some of these things are also context sensitive, contextual in nature. And the important thing here is that in Vedantic literature, generally in literature, in this kind of literature, particularly philosophical literature, some of these things have different kinds of meanings, right? Like, for example, Stree and Purusha are principles that exist in everybody. So Stree and Purusha are not male and female, they're masculine and feminine. Okay. The masculine aspect and the feminine aspect exist in everybody. So if you look at what the masculine aspect represents, the masculine aspect represents acquisition, knowledge, dominance, leading, guiding, all of that, right? So it's more of being out there and acquiring and all of that. The feminine aspect in each one of us is about emotions, about understanding as in the emotional aspect, about caring, about nurturing. These are the feminine aspects. So this can possibly also be taken as, I'm trying to advocate Adi Shankara's position here just by trying to defend him a little bit. So the defense, in his defense, I'm trying to say that Stree here is not a woman or a lady. It's possibly that aspect in you which is not, it's more tending towards taking looking at things the way they are in terms of material existence, in terms of the emotional connect, in terms of that softer aspect. But the Purusha, or the masculine, is possibly where knowledge is. So I'm just trying to play a little bit there. But anyways, but the point here is, he's trying to say that the Stree and the Bala are two aspects of innocence and ignorance. And what is that ignorance? That we think that Deham, which is my body, Prana, which is my Pancha Prana Vayu, the Indriyas, the Karma Indriyas and the Jnana Indriyas, the Chalam means the Buddhi, the Manas, the moving mind. The moving mind, the moving mind is called Chala because it keeps moving. It cannot be Sthira. It cannot be Achala. Like Aruna Achala. Arunachala means it is the brilliant brightness or the dawn, that which is unmoving, Arunachala, Achala. But this is Chala, Chalam, that which is moving constantly. What is moving? The mind. Mind is like the flicker of that lamp which constantly keeps moving. That Buddhi. Right? So this essentially covers all those, if those who have studied the Tattva Bodha or any of these earlier works of Adi Shankara, you will see this is the Karana Sharira, the Sthula Sharira, Sukshma Sharira, and the Karana Sharira. Or the Pancha Kosha, which is the Annamaya Kosha, the Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, and an Anandamaya Kosha. All these 5 koshas he is indicated here. Deham is the Annamaya Kosha. Prana is the Pranamaya Kosha. Indriya, again Indriyas fall on the Pranamaya, Manomaya and the Vijnanamaya, the Indriyani. Then comes the Chalam, which is Manas, which is in the Manomaya Kosha. Buddhi in the Vijnanamaya Kosha. Shunya. Shunya is the Karana Sharira or the Anandamaya Kosha. Now I'm getting into some technicalities here. Those who have studied this part of Vedanta will be able to connect to it. But otherwise, we will probably look at another time to go into the details of each of that. But the point here is that these are several layers within us. Okay? My Deha is the body. My Prana is the physiological functioning that happens within me. The vital air. The Prana, Apana, Vyana, Udana, Samana. These are all the airs that govern the function, physiological functions within me. That is Prana. Then Indriya. What is the Indriyas? Indriyani? The Pancha Jnanendriya, which is your eyes, ears, nose, touch, and smell. The Pancha Jnanendriyas. And the Pancha Karmendriyas. Vak, Pani, Pada, Chop, Upastha, Payu, which is your speech, your hands for grasping, your legs for locomotion, your excretory system, and the reproductive system. These 5 are the Pancha Karmendriyas. So Indriyani means the Pancha Jnanendriyas and the Pancha Karmendriyas. Okay, put together make the Indriyani. So you have the Deham, which is the body, the physical body, then the Prana Vayu, which is the Prana, and then the Indriyanis are the Pancha Jnanendriyas and the Pancha Karmendriyas, Dashendriyas, then Chalam, which is Manas, then Buddhi, which is your intellect, and then Shunya, which is the blankness of deep sleep. Okay. So if you follow this trajectory, you're going inwards. You're going inwards. How are you traveling? From the outside, there is this work written by Swami Vidyaranya Rishi called Drik Drishya Viveka. It's a fabulous work where he uses this idea of Drik and Drishya. Sorry, Drik and Drishya, which means Drishya is that which is seen. Drik is the one who is seeing. The seen and the seer. The seen and the seer. So, for example, when I see the world, who's seeing? The eyes are seeing. And what is it seeing? It is seeing the world. So the world is Drishya and the eyes are the Drik. So Drik, Drishya. The eyes are the Drik, eyes are seeing. What is it seeing? It is seeing the world, Drishya. Now, so this is at this level. You go inwards. From the inside, who is seeing the eyes? Who is functioning? Who is making the eyes function? It is so who's that entity? What is that entity within me that is making the eyes function? It is the Manas. Because the Manas knows when the eyes are blurry, when the eyes are sharp, when the eyes are closed, when it's open, the Manas knows this. The faculty of the mind knows this. So the Manas becomes the Drik. the seer, the eyes become the seen, because the manas is able to see the eyes. You go further inwards. You have the intellect, the buddhi. The buddhi knows the movement of the mind, because the buddhi is the discriminative faculty within us to say, this is what I should do, this is what I should not do, this is how I should do. That viveka or that discrimination happens in the buddhi. Discrimination is done on what? On what the mind creates as vritti, as thoughts. So the buddhi becomes the drik, the seer, the manas becomes the drishya, the seen. Okay, go further inwards. There is a blankness in deep sleep. Shunya. The shunya is drik. In the shunya, all of this dissolve. In deep sleep, we are not aware of any of this. So that ignorance remains. And who is watching all of this is the aham, the atma. So the drigdrishya viveka, it is a whole work that we should spend time to look at it in detail. But this is a process of introspecting. This is the path of Atma Vichara. Ramana Maharshi says, for any question you go and ask him, if you go and ask him, Bhagavan, how do I meditate? So you will ask, who is wanting to meditate? It's like, I am wanting to meditate. So then he will ask, who is the I that is wanting to meditate? Then you will think, and he'll say, it is me. This person, me, I am wanting to meditate. Then Bhagavan will ask, in deep sleep, do you have this desire of meditating? No. In deep sleep, we are not aware of anything. We are completely blank. So in deep sleep, this question doesn't arise. So then he'll ask, in the waking state, you have this desire, I want to meditate. So who is that I who is wanting to meditate? Then you go in and you find out, oh, there is this identity that I have created, which is I am wanting to meditate. And then he'll ask you further, go inwards and find out who is that I who is watching the one who is wanting to meditate. Because now you're wanting to meditate. At another time, you're not wanting to meditate. At some time, you're wanting to watch a movie. At some time, you're wanting to go to a restaurant. You're wanting to do different things at different times. Now you're wanting to meditate. But at another time, you're wanting to do something else. Who is that I who is watching this I doing all of this? Who is that I? Find that I. This is Ramana's method of Atma Vichara. So he'll slowly go inwards. So this first line essentially points to this, the first two lines essentially points to this introspective method of going from the out to the in a very methodical way. Right? So this is called Atma Vichara or self-introspection in the Vedanta. So this is one kind of a prakriya in Vedanta. Right? So that is the first two lines. We will pause here today with this, and we'll continue on this next week. So I'll just repeat the first two lines. Deham pranam apindriyanyapi chalam buddhim cha shunyam viduhu stri balandha jadopamastwaham iti bhranta bhrisham vadinah. Deham pranam apindriyanyapi chalam buddhim cha shunyam viduhu stri balandha jadopamastwaham iti bhranta bhrisham vadinah. So with this, Adi Shankara in the first two lines is saying, the one who thinks that these constitute I, then he says you are mistaken. you are in Bhranta. You are in illusion. Right? And then he'll go to the next line to indicate how do we come out of this illusion and what this illusion is. Maya Shakti. So he'll explain in the next line. Okay. So we'll pause with that now. Om Kayena Vacha Manasendriyerva Buddhyatmana Va Prakrite Swabhavat Karomi Yatyat Sakalam Parasmai Narayanaayeti Samarpayami Sadashivayeti Samarpayami Jagadambikaye iti Samarpayami Satgurunathayeti Samarpayami Hari Om Tat Satgurubhyo Namah Hari Om.